Wide receiver Mecole Hardman is fast, confident, and he was the first player drafted by the Chiefs in April. What should we expect from Hardman as the Chiefs prepare for their first preseason game on Saturday? Chiefs beat writer Brooke Pryor and columnist Sam Mellinger are here to talk about Hardman, and later we break down the Chiefs' first depth chart on SportsBeat KC, the sports podcast presented by the Kansas City Star. I'm your host, Blair Kerkhoff. Brooke, how was your weekend?
It was great. I had to sit and think, had we just gone through a weekend recently? Because we live up here and days of the week don't matter.
They all look the same, don't they?
They really do, except the 9:15 starts, which we just had this morning. So I'm grateful for that. And the 9:15 starts always mean the start to our weekend because we at least get the next day off, as does the team.
Yes, and we relish that off day for sure.
By the way, I love that your backup recording, your location services are on. It says we're recording at Starbucks, which is cruel because there is a Starbucks directly below where we're recording, but it won't be open until August 26th.
That explains that Starbucks, I guess, right?
No, because when you pull it up on Google Maps to go to Starbucks, it says there's one 271 feet from your current location. And guess what? There is, but there is nothing in it.
I think there's one every 271 feet in America. I may be wrong about that. Sam, how was your month?
My 14-day weekend was absolutely amazing.
I hope Kathy Lou, our producer, can play some trumpet music, some kind of fanfare for the return of Sam Mellinger to SportsBeat KC and the Kansas City Star. It's great to have you back, Sam. I hope it was a good vacation.
It was unbelievable. I had to reapply for my job. Had to introduce myself.
Is that application still pending?
Yes, but here I am.
This is part of the audition.
Hoping for a good showing here. That'll help my cause.
Oh, man. So the pressure's on the host, really, to bring out the best in you. Yeah,
be a good point guard.
That's not going to happen. It was, like Brooke said, a short practice today, but we did get to speak to Mecole Hardman afterwards and got to ask Andy Reid about him as well. We're going to talk about the depth chart a little bit later. We're going to spend this first part talking about Mecole Hardman. But we were looking at the depth chart, and there are no rookies or drafted players on listed as starters. But he looms to me as one of the important guys for the Chiefs, and certainly one that we're all going to keep our eye on the first preseason game on Saturday at Arrowhead against the Bengals. Sam, when the Chiefs drafted Hardman, there were a lot of thoughts. One, were they drafting a backup? Were they looking at Tyreek Hill's replacement because Tyreek Hill's status was uncertain at the time? But the other thing was, man, how much more speed can this team acquire? Because he brought sprinter speed to this roster. You haven't been here, as we mentioned. So no, making a point. He hasn't seen him practice.
That's fair.
But he's gotten better throughout practice, right, Brooke? Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he had a couple drops early, and but that's been the theme with him since rookie minicamp is that he's been not a slow build, but it's definitely been a work in progress the whole time. You can see he has to get adjusted to the speed of this practice. That's a thing he talked about today when he was asked about getting adjusted to the NFL game was the speed of it, the conditioning of it. But as he acclimates to that more, I think you can see all the pieces starting to come together. I mean, it feels like the last 2-3 days he's put together the best practices that we've seen, which is the trajectory that you want to see for a draft pick and trending in the direction of being a key contributor on this offense, even if he isn't listed as a starter.
There was a play Sunday where he took a short pass, shook off a tackle, and looked like he would sprint to the end zone, but Juan Thornhill had the angle on him and tracked him down. I didn't know Juan Thornhill had that kind of speed.
That was the overwhelming reaction that I got from Twitter when I tweeted out that play. Like you said, he was taking off down the field, and then all of a sudden felt like Juan Thornhill came out of nowhere. I'd like to see a foot race between those two. I think Mecole Hardman wins it, but it was good to see that kind of speed on the defensive side. And then he also got the snot knocked out of him a day ago on that jet sweep in the first play of 11-on-11 in the last session. But I think it speaks to his resiliency that he popped right back up. Pop up is probably too strong a word. He was gingerly helped off the field, evaluated for a couple minutes on the sideline, never went to the injury tent, and then was back on the field a couple plays later.
Right.
That's huge, I think.
So he talked about that. Let's listen to what Mecole Hardman had to say about that hit and some other thoughts from the Chiefs' first draft pick of 2019. He was taken in the second round. Here's Mecole Hardman.
Anything about the NFL game surprise you so far?
Probably just the speed, faster than college. It's football. You play, you learn, you practice, you try to make perfect. So it's all the same thing, just a little faster.
How much more comfortable do you feel right now with the offense than you did first rookie minicamp?
Oh, man.
Night and day?
Tremendous. Too much confidence, I would say. You know what I'm saying? But nah, you just want to get out here and just get better every day. I'm learning the plays. The plays coming easier. I'm hearing it out of the quarterback's mouth easier. The checks are coming easier. So now that when them things come easier, I can be able to play fast and play to my ability. So definitely, I say we're on a good time right now. I think our chemistry growing. I think I'm starting to figure out where he want me to be at on the field. I think he's starting to figure me out as a player, my speed, things I like to do at my routes. So I think it's growing. I think we still got some improving to do before first game. But right now, I think we're solid. Nah, you can't be out here and having surreal moments. We out here, we are professionals, and we got to play. I got to catch the ball. He got to throw me the ball. We got guys all around that's been in the league a long time. So if you out there being in wild mode trying to catch balls from Pat, you're not gonna ever catch a ball from Pat because you're not gonna be on the field. So there's no time for surreal. We all out here. We know what we got to do. We know what jobs we got to do. So just got out here and work.
Okay, Sam, what do you remember about the drafting of Mecole Hardman and what were the circumstances involved? Obviously, he didn't go in the first round. That was, they didn't have a first-round pick.
There was a lot of moving parts, and it's hard to separate out exactly the most critical part. You mentioned the Tyreek Hill situation was really fluid at that moment. And surely that was part of it. I don't know if it was 2% or if it was 60%. What I do know is that, it's easy to say they already have Tyreek Hill. What do they need Mecole Hardman for? I would say this, they did the Sammy Watkins contract as sort of an investment into Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Sammy Watkins can be cut after this season for a cap savings of, I believe, $14 million.
It's not insignificant.
Mecole Hardman, as we all know, rookies, Andy Reid likes to take rookies along slowly. It's a complex playbook. Hardman was a converted cornerback, is that right? And played in a system at Georgia that just doesn't throw the ball much. The difference in what was on his plate in terms of terminology, positions, everything, last year at Georgia against this year with the Chiefs has to be enormous. And so I wonder, the Chiefs have shown this, and they did it with John Dorsey too. They've shown a tendency to draft a year ahead and, draft some guy's replacement before he needs to be replaced. That way you're not throwing too much on a rookie. So, I think that it would be totally believable to me for Brett Veach to come in here and drink some truth serum and say, we would have drafted Mecole Hardman no matter what. And part of that, too, again, this is part of the moving parts, I think they really wanted a cornerback.
They did.
But the cornerbacks weren't there. And they would have taken a cornerback, but they traded that pick for Frank Clark. So, that's part of the situation as well. And I think that, just from what I've read and then heard a little bit today, and talking to some of the people, sort of behind the scenes, before training camp started, they're pleased with the progress that he's made. He's a smart guy, so, there's some, what he lacks in experience, what he has, he's just a raw receiver, but he's a sharp kid. And, I think he's coming along well to the point where, maybe you do feel more comfortable dropping that $14 million next year with Sammy Watkins and investing that Chris Jones, Tyreek Hill. I mean, they got some places where that money can go. Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. But while they have them all this year, the position group sets up pretty nicely.
It's unbelievable.
the Chiefs lose Chris Conley. They basically trade one Georgia wide receiver for
That's right.
for another.
For a younger, faster one.
Yes, right. So right now with the depth chart, with Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, Mecole Hardman, and then you've got another group of I think players right after that, of which they're going to take two or three. Gary Dieter, Marcus Kemp, who I think has been really good here in the last.
And that's what Andy Reid said, or it was Eric Bieniemy said yesterday, that Marcus Kemp is one of those guys that when other guys are held out of practice, he's really stepped up and flourished. And I think you've seen today and yesterday with Tyreek Hill out, Marcus Kemp, you saw him being targeted more because that's just the way that things work with Dieter being out and Hill being out. Kemp has taken more first-team snaps. He looks really good. Right now, I think he's surging to make one of those, five or the number 5 or the number 6 receiver. But
there's Byron Pringle, who Andy Reid talked about today.
Don't forget Cody Thompson.
Cody Thompson as well. I noticed he got some media attention after practice
As
today.
did David Grayson, I believe is who that was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Looking at the depth chart, which let me slide this over here, the way that it was listed, it kind of seems like that in the mix for the last 2 spots, Gary Dieter, Rashard Davis, Cody Thompson, Byron Pringle, Marcus Kemp seem to be in the mix. Maybe not David Grayson. Maybe. To me, the only guy that you can really eliminate from, or the only 3 guys that you can really eliminate from making one of those last spots, Felton Davis, Jody Forston, and Jamal Custis. Custis may be a practice squad guy. They clearly thought highly enough of him to invest $100,000 in him as a free agent signing. But
I wonder if there's some trade bait in this position group. If a Demarcus Robinson, he certainly has improved steadily as his Chiefs career has unfolded. He won't be a featured receiver this year. It was an interesting comment by Eric Bieniemy on Demarcus Robinson yesterday, or whatever it was this weekend. Again, the days run together here at training camp. He tends to be the wide receiver on the receiving end of the Patrick Mahomes scrambles. Mm-hmm. That when Mahomes is flushed and he's making some incredible play, it's Demarcus Robinson who ends up on the receiving end of that. And we have our theories why. One, he's just he's a hustling guy and always aware. I also think he's not covered the way that Tyreek Hill is covered, and there are he's not as respected as some of the other Chiefs receivers, but he's made some big plays for the Chiefs. I was trying to come up with this the other day. I was trying to think of when the Chiefs had the game-tying drive against the Patriots when they got the ball with 39 seconds to go, and there was the one big pass play to Spencer Ware, and then they had to make another big play, and I couldn't remember who was on the receiving end of that. It was Demarcus Robinson who had a big gain to put him in field goal range. So anyway, it just seems like there is a wealth of talent at the position, and maybe I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs can do something with it. There are needs elsewhere with this team.
Yeah, you wonder if they can do a trade similar to Charvarius Ward last year, and Demarcus Robinson should get a little bit better haul than what Charvarius Ward was thought to be at that point. But they do have some depth. They'd be working from a position of strength there, and it's crazy. And I just think, like when you talk about that of Demarcus Robinson being on literally the receiving end of a lot of those plays. Do you remember, I think it was Patrick Mahomes' first preseason game. It was at home. He had that wild scramble around, who were they? Was it the Titans? I think it was the Titans. And he threw it 1,000,000 yards downfield, and that was Demarcus Robinson on the sideline. That was the play where, like, Marcus Peters and, Justin Houston, everybody's just going bananas on the sideline.
Right.
And then there was the other play, again at home. It wasn't really a scramble, but it was ad-libbed. Was that against the Raiders? It was a home game late in the year, and Robinson was supposed to come back, but he had beat his guy so badly, he put his arm up.
Yeah, it was the 89-yard.
That was the 50th touchdown.
Yeah. Where he backpedaled into the end zone and got the
taunting call, which
worth it.
If I score an 89-yard touchdown, I'm also taunting whoever is behind me.
Totally.
But it is. I mean, they can put together a position group. They can go 4 wide with Tyreek Hill ran a 4.25. Is that right?
Something like that.
Hardman ran a 4.33, I think. And then you can put Byron Pringle and Sammy Watkins and then Damian Williams, if the hamstring heals, at running back, and the slowest guy in that group ran a 4.45. That's the kind of stuff that I don't know what you do to defend that.
You pray.
When the quarterback can throw it
is as good as this
literally out of the
quarterback.
stadium.
Right.
Right. We've seen the film.
That's a literal statement.
But I guess this is the potential of Mecole Hardman. He can, if he's this good and as good as advertised, as good as he's practiced here in the last few days, he can push that position group down a little bit because his name will rise in it.
I liked his media time today too. I thought he was good. Like I liked, somebody I forgot who it was asked, you were in college last year while the quarterback was winning the MVP. Is it a little bit surreal?
Yeah.
And he was like, ain't no time for surreal.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that.
You know what? We talked about this earlier in camp, and I don't remember if it was on a podcast or just amongst each other, but he's been a lot more relaxed this camp than I thought he would be coming in when we talked to him after he first got drafted, after rookie minicamp. And some of it, I'm sure, is him settling down. But I also think for him that having Tyreek Hill available has taken just a world of weight off his shoulders.
Sure.
No longer is he being heralded as the Tyreek Hill replacement for X many games or the possibility of X many games. Now he can be a rookie and develop and not feel rushed. We saw him on move-in day. He's pretending to interview Patrick Mahomes and is jumping into the media scrum, talking to him.
Playing with his chain. What was he doing with his chain today before he did? He said he did something with his chain before he addressed the camera.
I don't know if it was the chain or if he just was wearing sweaty pads because he took off. Okay. He had the shells on, and he took that off. And it was a really hot day, I think, also with practice starting at 9:15. It got a lot grosser as it went on, and so he took that off. But he has also been known for the flashy chain. Patrick said, hey, man, you're blinding me with that. And I think he was wearing the Bowman chain that day, too. Bowman, his hometown, he got that specially made for the draft. He's a guy that's just shown a ton of personality, really rebounded from, you never know how those first draft night phone calls are going to go because I'm sure the guy's overwhelmed and, oh my gosh, I've just been drafted, my life is changing. But he's wildly exceeded expectations.
Well, he was the Chiefs' first pick, and the Chiefs moved up to get him. So there is, when you move up and you trade up to get in a position to draft somebody that you want, I think that raises the expectation level a little bit as well. Let's hear what Andy Reid had to say about Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. I think it was just getting used to the speed of the game, and then every route here, there's no route that's off. Not with a quarterback like we have, and so you got to run hard on everything. It might look like a clearing route, but can't take it that way.
Mecole got hit pretty hard yesterday and then still came back in. What does that say about his toughness and his kind of resiliency?
I think it scared him more than anything. You've got about 600 pounds laying on his ankle, but he was able to bounce back, and he's a tough kid. He played at a good school against good teams, and so it's not the first time he's been hit. But I think that initial I just had a whole load land on me, and but he got right back in. So you give him credit for that.
What's his learning curve been like? His progression, since when you first got him that rookie minicamp until now?
He had to get used to everything is fast. And then there are certain ways you set things up, but it's still fast. So there are no plays off. And when you're a receiver in this offense, it's not going to be all hitch routes. So you're going to run a couple plays down the field. So
he's still relatively new to the position. Is he more polished as a route runner than you guys realized when you brought him in?
I think Brett had a good read on that. He's a good route runner. Now the things we're asking him to do, some of those things he didn't have to do. He was kind of their stretch guy down the field and the around guy, jet sweep guy for him. So we're asking him to do all the short intermediate stuff too, things over the middle. And that's some of that's new for him, yeah.
Well, you guys had some special offensive plays with different people passing the ball and some kind of trickier type things. Last year it was mostly more about Patrick. When you tried in the offseason trying to devise new stuff to trick people, at this point, when you have him at quarterback, is there less even thought about trying to do other things, or does that change you at all?
Yeah, Kelsey kind of ruined that for everybody.
But when you go back and design plays, how much do you go back, years ago and try to bring something back?
You go back through and you look at some of the old stuff. Some of the old stuff, football kind of goes in cycles, so you look at that, but you're also staying current. And then, the best part is I've got these great minds on that offensive side, and they've got ideas, and so you listen. And EB kind of heads that whole thing up, and he challenges those guys to come up with things. And it might not be, you might not have tape on it. It might be something nobody's run, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to until you say we can't, we're going to do, and nothing's impossible.
All right, that was Andy Reid on Mecole Hardman. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Chiefs' depth chart. First one of the season was released on Sunday, and Brooke, Sam, and I will be back after this to talk Chiefs.
Hey, it's Blair. Hey, we have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners, unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns we have to offer. And it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. For your convenience, your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. A lot of subscription services won't tell you that. They'll just sneak it on there. We just told you. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening.
All right, I'm not back. We're back on SportsBeat KC
Team Blair.
with Brooke Pryor, Sam Mellinger, and me. And the depth chart came out, and so in the camp notes today, I noticed I wanted to figure out how many players are listed as the starters on this depth chart versus the starting 22 for the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Care to guess the number? How many different players out of 22 starting positions, how many are new starters? And they're a little more on defense and offense.
I was going to say, I'm going 6, 7,
A little higher.
9.
You're all around it.
Dang it! 8.
So on defense, you've got those who are no longer with the Chiefs are Eric Berry, Justin Houston, Dee Ford, Steven Nelson, and Alan Bailey. Okay, and then on offense, there are a couple who are not with the Chiefs. Mitch Morse is one of them, and who am I missing here? But Cam Irving was with the Chiefs last year, and he started in the AFC title game, but he's running with the twos now. So to me, depth charts are they're basically for the media to chat about. And you and I did, Brooke, last night and wrote about it. But these things can change in a heartbeat. But isn't the statement with the Chiefs that by replacing those defensive players that we just mentioned with Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, Damian Wilson, Alex Okafor, Breeland Bouchard, all the guys, Emmanuel Agba, aren't they basically putting it out there that this is the difference between an overtime loss in the AFC Championship game and what they expect for this year?
And one more spot, Daniel Sorensen is number one at safety, and there's a chance, at least, that Juan Thornhill will be the starting safety when the season starts. So it could be the change could be even greater.
Right.
Well, and we've seen Thornhill take some first-team reps throughout this, and there have been a couple of really interesting 3 safety sets with Sorensen, Thornhill, and Mathieu. And Andy Reid said, we're going to see that throughout this season.
Right. That was the other. I thought that was interesting. We saw a lot of in one of the sub packages, Sorensen, Thornhill, and the Honey Badger on the field together. Just like another interesting alignment with basically 4 defensive ends as the front 4 with Chris Jones and Okafor and Frank Clark and Tano Passanio lining up. I mean that's kind of an interesting alignment as your front 4 basically defensive ends. That's taking a Derek Nottie or a Xavier Williams out of the middle, and that is a get to the quarterback alignment. So So, Brooke, you and I, we went over the depth chart when we got it about 8 o'clock on Sunday night. What were the other, anything else stand out to you?
Let's see. Derek Nottie is the first team right defensive tackle beside Chris Jones, making Justin Hamilton and Xavier Williams the backups, which I thought was interesting. I thought that I don't know if it was that I didn't think about Derek Nottie, but I just kind of assumed that I thought that Xavier Williams would end up being the starter alongside Chris Jones because of his veteran presence and his ability to kind of make sure everybody's where they need to be.
Kind of a captain at the position,
yeah.
The defensive tackle position. And it seems like he's been getting just as many first-team reps
right.
as Derek Nottie.
Exactly. And then on offense, I thought it was intriguing that John Lovett was listed as a second-string fullback, but he's also listed as a tight end on the roster, and that just speaks, I think, to his versatility and how they've been using him in the offense to kind of do a little bit of everything. I mean, we've seen him taking most of his individual reps and drills, I believe, with the running back group. But again, he's still listed as tight end on the roster.
I think the Chiefs are going to find every way they can to keep him on the 53. Yeah. Maybe does that happen at the expense of a third tight end, though? Yelder seems like he's been running with the second team lately. Blake Bell was with running with the twos earlier in camp. So I don't know. I don't know how that position is going to shake out after Travis Kelce. I'll be curious to see on Saturday night who comes in with the twos. But and Sam, you know this, covering the Chiefs as long as you have, if Dave Toub likes you, that really increases your chances if you're a borderline player of making the 53. And Dave Toub mentioned over the weekend that Blake Bell was the player who was taking all of Demetrius Harris's special teams duties. Demetrius Harris led the team in special teams snaps last year. So if you're getting a shout out from Dave Toub, that's never a bad thing.
That's a huge. I mean, I think all teams put some emphasis on special teams, but I do think that Dave carries a little bit more weight than a lot. I mean, that's a guy that I think maybe should, but certainly could be a head coach, relatively soon. And we've seen that year after year after year, that Dave will pluck somebody and they're playing. And it's a good point that you make about Demetrius Harris, because not just the most snaps, but there were a lot of games he was their best special teams player. He was great in coverage. I mean, he could block. I mean, he made a lot of plays. And the more you watch, he did some stuff fairly right. There was a play in the Bengals game where he made two guys, one right at the line and then another down the field, just look like fools on coverage. So, if they think they can get something like that out of anybody, that guy's going to make the team.
A little while ago, I was looking for that second offensive player who started in the Patriots game and is not with him. It's Chris Connolly. He started that game. I think kick return and punt return is also going to be kind of interesting. Who goes out there first for the Chiefs? The Chiefs had the Pro Football Writers first team kick return specialist last year in Tremont Smith, and I'm not exactly sure what the Chiefs think about Tremont Smith right now.
I think they like him. I mean, he's listed as the first-team kick return on the depth chart. He has been taking the first-team reps in practice.
Do they want Mecole Hardman to be that guy?
Or do they want Mecole Hardman to just be the punt return specialist and still let Tremont and his speed handle kick return duties?
And save wear and tear on Tyreek Hill?
Right. I think that's going to be the main goal, is saving wear and tear on Tyreek Hill and letting those two guys either split or, I don't know, but I think Tremont still makes the 53-man.
I don't know. I totally agree with the cosign on the Tyreek. Like he's your pinch hitter, and he's your punt returner in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And maybe it's the big situations where you need a home run. But Tremont Smith, and he is a really good kick returner. But I just wonder. I mean, we were talking a little bit about this off air. Just if the Chiefs move you off of corner, they don't think much of you as a corner, and putting you into a pretty crowded running back group. I don't know. I wonder if he's on the outside. I just wonder if being a kick returner is enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But the other thing is with the running back, he was moved over there and into a crowded position, but he was taking second-team reps as soon as he got over there. He seems to think that moving to running back is a permanent thing. Andy Reid said it's more of a trial period kind of thing. So I don't know where he fits other than at kick returner.
It just reminded me, not that there was a position switch involved, but it reminded me of kind of how the Chiefs used DeAnthony Thomas, what they see in Tremont Smith. Somebody who you can jet sweep, you can line up outside. In fact, the first day that Tremont Smith was running with the running backs, that was the day the practice got rained out and they had to take it into the indoor facility. And it was Kendall Fuller who told us afterwards he was confused because he saw number 20 lining up outside and didn't know who it was. Hadn't seen him before and thought, no, that guy was. Then he realized that he was, in his position group meeting just the previous day. So maybe, I don't know, Andy Reid with a little weapon like that.
Sure,
and
why not?
Give him all the weapons,
Just what
whatever
they
he
need.
needs.
That's right. Who needs that third tight end? That ninth offensive lineman. Give
What
Andy
we need on this team is more speed.
more undersized speed.
Right.
So, all right, I think that's going to do it for us today. Brooke Pryor, thanks for joining us. Sam Mellinger, glad to have you back, my friend. It's been way too long, and we will talk to you again soon from Chiefs Camp. You know by now where to find links to the stories we've discussed, but if you don't, they're right here in the show notes. They're also on kansascity.com, facebook.com/RedZoneExtra, the Red Zone Extra app, and if you're like me, you like grabbing a cup of coffee and reading the stories in the print editions of the Kansas City Star. Thank you, Kathy Lou and Leah Becerra, for producing today's show. Thanks for listening.